In this video I want to take a look at capital gains tax reliefs. What are the main capital gains tax reliefs, especially when it comes to property? Solicitors are concerned about property and conveyancing and so on. The first one is principal private residence relief. This provides relief from capital gains tax for a private residence on ground of up to 1 acre, provided the house has been used by the seller as his principal private residence throughout the period of ownership. If he or she has not occupied the house for all of that time, then there may be a gain arising out of the period of time during which he did not occupy the house. That gain may be chargeable. So essentially, if you've lived in the house for the entire period, then there is principal private residence relief. And then there is some consideration of periods during which you may not have lived in the house. You may have been living, for example, or working abroad or something of that nature, but otherwise the capital gain on the sale of a principal private residence is a total relief. Okay? You need to be careful, however, or be mindful of principal private residence and development land, because the relief may be withdrawn or modified if the principal private residence is development land. The principal private residence relief only applies to that part of the gain calculated on the basis that the house was acquired and disposed of for its resident or current use value. In other words, the part of it that's attributable to development land, that may give rise to a capital gain. The part of it that is the value basically of the house for current use or residence purposes, that is tax-free insofar as capital gain is concerned. There's also then a thing called a dependent relative relief. This is where you supply a house rent-free to a dependent relative. Each spouse can have a house with a dependent relative residing therein, availing of this relief. So that is a relief from capital gain on the disposal of the house. Then we have a relief in relation to the transfer of a site from a parent to a child. Relief is available where you can transfer a site of up to 1 acre to a child up to a value of €500,000 from parent to child. The child must build a house on the site and live in it as his principal private residence, and the site must be no more than 1 acre. There's also a relief then called a credit against capital acquisitions tax. This relief operates by allowing the person paying capital acquisitions tax to reduce the amount of CAT by the amount of capital gains tax paid by the disponer or the person making the gift. The CAT, the capital acquisitions tax, and capital gains tax must arise on the same event, and the capital gains tax must be paid, but it can be offset then against the capital acquisitions tax that will be paid, so that will be reduced. Finally then, there's retirement relief. If you retire and you're aged 55 or over and dispose of certain qualifying assets, that is, assets used for a trade, profession or farming, you may be entitled to relief from capital gains tax. Qualifying assets must be chargeable business assets of the individual and includes goodwill. In the case of an incorporated business, that is a limited company, the shares must be held for a period of 10 years to qualify. In other words, you can't just buy a company with a view to disposing of it within a very short period of time and availing of this so-called retirement relief. You must have held the shares for at least 10 years. Qualifying assets must be chargeable business assets rather, of the individual and includes goodwill. And as I say, in the case of a company, the shares must be held for a period of 10 years to qualify. If the disposal is to an individual's children, there may be total relief from capital gains tax regardless of the value of the business at the time of the disposal. This is the disposal of a business to a child relief and is a total relief, regardless of the value of the business. There's a potential clawback if the child disposes of the business within 6 years. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.